Hey everybody, it's Bust with Busted Strategies number 13, 14, 12, 14, 13. Something in there. We're jumping in another Innistrad draft. Let's get to it. So yeah, we're ready for a good one here. We got a little salty in that previous draft because things weren't going right, but to make up for that, fate was on our side. Was heavily, heavily favored to lose in the fantasy football, and Amari Cooper only put up 4 points last night. So we came out, won the games we didn't deserve, and that felt pretty good. And so, okay, so let's take a look at this one here. This is kind of an interesting pack. Like, we talk about kind of taking the high valued cards and taking removal spells, both of which Purifying Dragon is. The only kind of downside to Purifying Dragon is that I prefer to be, in a black deck as opposed to a red deck. But I digress from that. I don't think we can pass on the Purifying Dragon pick one, pack one. Just so easy to build around. And it feels like we're doing ourselves a bit of a disservice if we take the Digraph Horde over top of it. Don't get me wrong, the Horde is a fantastic unit, but I think at pack one here, the Purifying Dragon is strong enough. Then ideally, we will want to keep in the back of our mind, we could potentially table a Sunrise Cavalier. Boros is not a particularly common or well-played set of colors in this format, and so maybe the Cavalier will come back starting with the Purifying Dragon. I don't think the cards within those packs are good enough to really kind of like count on that to happen. But we can hope and see, wait and see, hope and dream, however we want to go about it here. Okay, so this pack, not a lot of real strength in it. So the Village Watch, I'm just not a huge fan of. Just a 4/3 haste on 5 very easily trades with like your opponent's Cathar Commando. It's very tough to get a lot of value out of these things. Not really interested in it. And then these other red cards aren't fantastic. If we aren't in blue-red, I don't really want the Elementalist. Burn the Accursed is fine, but it's something we want 0 to 1 of. So with this, I'm just going to come in here and take the clear shot. I got the super click on it, so it just apparently jumped straight into our deck. But it's a high quality removal spell with nothing else really going on in the pack. So I think that one's okay. And then again, as we push on here, there is an Olivia's Midnight Ambush, which is a reasonable removal spell. Not ultra strong in this format, but it's certainly above average card quality. But with these, I'm just kind of looking towards the Eviscerator. Just an absolute monster of a unit to have to deal with. It's pretty impossible to block. It's so easy to just turn this into a 4/4 force strike, and then he has some real late game potential in all these dark abilities here. And so I think it's okay. Rite of Oblivion, again, the strongest card here. I don't think we can just like jump into white black at this point. I don't think we want to take black at all with this Olivia Midnight Ambush. We might end up in black later, but I think we need to give ourselves some direction, and we've got these really high-powered red cards. Okay, feels good with the Moonrager Slash. I think the Slash is better than the Brigand. This is the premier red removal. And look at this. Look at these black cards. I mean, maybe this is why you just stay with the Digraph Horde in the pack one, because you get dumb stuff like this coming to you. You could have had the Ghoulish Procession or another Horde here, but I think we're just kind of like firmly entrenched in red. We can't complain about picking up Moonrager Slashes, and we have these quality red cards already happening in our pile. Okay, so interesting. So we have kind of made thoughts that maybe red-white will appear. None of these cards make me want to take white cards, so that's not happening. I'm looking at just taking this Arcane Infusion. If we end up in blue-red, then this is a pretty decent card advantage style card. Otherwise, we aren't like really missing out on much in this pack. I'm never excited about Bounding Wolf. I don't want to be picking up these 5-cost Dread Knight things. The Vandal is very mediocre, and so we'll go with the high valued play here if we somehow end up in blue red. Oh, here's some red payoff. I'm certainly picking up a second Purifying Dragon given the opportunity. So cool, that works for me. Nothing else really happening here. It is kind of hopefully good seeing all of these white cards table in the event that we do want to go Boros, and then that Boros Bro shows up here a bit later on. And so, in anticipation of that, of of the haste unit showing up, we could take the search party captain. Otherwise, we're just taking the Secrets of the Key, which is pretty weak, or an Evolving Wilds, which I don't think is quite necessary in this format. We don't need any more expensive stuff in terms of Dread Knight. We got these two Purifying Dragons. Okay, well, can't tell if it's gonna happen. It's gonna be in our next pack where it would the Boros unit would be. The Exorcism we don't want. Here, I do really like Eccentric Farmer, but I think, given the way our deck is turning out here, we just have to take something like Pestilent Wolf. If we're going to end up in green-red, our early game plays are non-existent at this point, and we have to take something. So yeah, the Boros card didn't table. Happy enough to pick up a Lambeau Terrier, give us some more early game stuff to do. Okay, well, here, I love me a Bird Admirer, but I think we shouldn't have too much trouble picking up one. Here, the Burn the Accursed tabled. I want to go with the removal spell. Got to make sure that we can interact with our opponents. All right, I do like Pestilent Wolf more than the Vandal. The Vandal is fine if you're playing like these really aggressive, like vampire-style decks or the aggressive Boros decks, since it can come down with the Menace, but these green-red decks tend to be a lot more mid-rangey. Then that guy can really come out here and take advantage of. Alright, so we'll just sideboard the red card. Take the Bounding Wolf as filler. Probably not going to play it, but looks like we're getting pretty well lined up into red-green. Apparently, we're just playing dragons today with the Moonveil Regent. Absolute superstar. This dude is an absolute monster in this format. It's an absolute monster in everything. And constructed, just whenever you play a spell, being able to discard your hand and draw new cards is absolutely fantastic in the late game. When it gets killed off, it still even has some value attached to it. Just everything we could want in a unit here. It's an ultra high-powered set of red cards that we've managed to pick up today. Oh, the dragon. Drafting them dragons. So I think we can safely get rid of the Arcane Infusion and the Search Party Captain. I think we're most assuredly in green-red here. So yeah, I mean, we're not going to be super aggressive. We're pretty mid-rangey, looking to pick up with these dragons here, because the important things to keep in mind as we roll our way through here. Makes me like not completely opposed to play cards like Dawnheart Rejuvenator, just to stall the board, help us pick up the 5th mana if that's what it takes to get a Purifying Dragon down. But I don't think we go out of our way to take this. If the Outland Liberators is just a fine unit all on its own. I'd rather be in a deck like this. As far as these 2-drops go, I still want to get up to like 6 or 7 or 8 2-drops, but I think the Liberator on par or slightly worse than Pestilent Wolf, and then both are better than the Lambeau Terrier. We're not really a Lambeau Terrier style deck here today. Okay, well, I would love a Root Coil Creeper as a means to come up here and ramp into these dudes, and then otherwise, I mean, there's not much happening here. We can take the Tireless Hunter. Not opposed to playing 3 5-drops, and this card really does grow on me these days. But otherwise, just a bunch of turds. Okay, so I don't think we can pass on Unnatural Moonrise. We don't have too many werewolves at this point. I think we just have the one, actually. Just have the single Outland Liberator. Oh, we have a Brigand as well. But this just super picks up the value of all of our werewolves. Maybe we'll even come out here and like table this Harvesttide Infiltrator. Just a super high quality card. Okay, well this one, I think we're stuck taking the Silverbolt. I would love to pick up some of these Eccentric Farmers, but I just don't want things to get out of hand as far as us just not having any removal. Like, as far as our interaction goes at this point, we have the 1 Moonrager Slash, the Clear Shot, and the Burn the Accursed. We're doing okay. I guess I should say we're doing okay, but I want to at least pick up a touch more removal given the opportunity. All right, then with this one, most assuredly want to be picking up these Bird Admirers now. I want 2 on any given deck. I really like having 2, especially with these where we're looking to stall the board so much. But now that we have Unnatural Moonrise, the value of all these werewolves just shoots way up. Okay, well, I don't imagine we'll play the Electric Revelation. I'm just going to play the Dawnheart Rejuvenator. Haven't quite found the deck where I want to play it, but I could see us finding a home for it. Here I'm going to pick the Duel for Dominance. It's very easy for us to have a board bigger than our opponents and get a good trade. Feels a little bit better than the Immolation here. Okay, well this is where we'll take the Eccentric Farmers. Glad to have that addition. Just if you've played the formats with Civic Wayfinders, they are Civic Wayfinder is better than the Eccentric Farmer, but it's the kind of comparable quality. It makes it kind of worse that we didn't pick up any of those terramorphic expanses. If you can sacrifice the expanse off on the first turn, it just kind of guarantees that you have a land to pick up with the farmer. But it's not the way it played out here today. That's all right. It's just a nice interaction, not something that we have to have for our deck to be good. Let's get this cleaned up a bit. We'll get the good deal. The Harvest-Tide Infiltrator did table. Let's see, Meat Hook Massacre. That's not a red card. It looks like it's what we're going to be taking here, just in the sense that the only playable is Timberland Guide, and I'd like to pick up a constructed quality mythic, but I wanted to get our deck kind of cleaned up a little bit before we got into this pack. We're looking pretty decent. Like I could see the Tireless Hauler coming out, but it's probably not. I could see the Rejuvenator probably coming out. These cards are all fine. Yeah, this is coming together nicely. Nice little curve. So yeah, there's no red or green cards, so we're just going to pick up the mythic. Give us the red or green cards. All right, here's the Kessig Naturalist. A fantastic 2-drop. This guy is quite good. I have had reasonable success with the Mask of Gristlebrand. It wants like very specific decks that kind of like have flyers and don't have good top end and have kind of some decay cards. It's a weird set of circumstances where you want this, but in the right home, this can be good. Don't go out of your way to pick it up. It's very expensive, but it could be fine. But yeah, the Naturalist, great unit here. Just one of the premier werewolves. Okay, so these aren't that exciting. This isn't a deck where Thermo Alchemist is going to be particularly good. The only reason I'm looking at the Alchemist is I don't think we'll play Tavern Ruffian. We have 2 4-drops at this point. I don't really want to play more than 2. But the place I am worried is I want to have like 6 or 7 2-drops, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at this point. And so at the end of the day, if the Alchemist is what it takes for us to have another 2-drop in our deck, then he could certainly be worse. All right, nothing playable here. We're not going to play the Famished Foragers in this one. Not going to play Tapping at the Window. So I mean, let's just pick up an uncommon. Yeah, all the values for for our units. Okay, so the Spellring Painter isn't a werewolf I'm particularly excited about. I would rather have Harvest-Tide Infiltrators than Spellrune Howlers. We just don't have the spell count to really pop this off. We don't even have any combat tricks in our deck at this point. So I think I'm looking at just picking up a Lambbolt Harrier, but I think we're okay in that sense. Let's just get a Harvest-Tide Infiltrator here. A Silverbolt or a Sentry. I think we want the Sentry in this stage. I mean, our removal is light at this point, though. We have the one Silverbolt, the 1 Slash, the 1 Clear Shot, so we only have 4, and then the Burn the Accursed is 5. Let's pick up the Silverbolts. I was hoping we just got a magical, mystical burn spell showing up here at the end, but not the case. We could look at the Elementalists, but I think if this was a deck where we had like 3 Moonrager Slashes and we just had like a really high quality chance of playing this early, it would be fine, but I don't think that's where we're really at with this deck. Boy, Rise of the Ants. I have a tough time on passing this one. I don't know if we're gonna play it. This isn't the exact home I would want to have, Rise of the Ants in, but we'll give it a try. It's a Tireless Hauler. Again, we may end up playing something like Tireless Hauler. Probably not going to, but it's an option. Not going to play Bounding Wolves. All right, well, it's like everything showed up here. 2, 3. Let's just take the Painter. All right. Well, we have a wonderful collection of cards here. We can certainly do some do some work with this deck. Stormrider Spirit is the last one. So let's see how this shaped up. Thank you for the recommendation. So we're going to have to make a handful of cuts. We have 19 creatures, which is probably too many. I wanted to see where our removal stood at this point. We got 20 creatures because of the Rise of the Ants, but I want to see where our removal stood. We got 2 Silver Bolts. So there's one in here. Duel for Dominance takes us to 3. The Slash takes us to 4. Clear Shot to 5. And then the Burn the Accursed is up to 6. So I think that's okay. And then our only other non-creature spells would be the Unnatural Moonrise. So I think I'm happy with all that. I feel like we can probably hang on to all of this top end. Well, oh no, that's two Tireless Haulers. So let's make sure we take one Hauler out. I do want to keep both dragons over the Hauler. I think they're a little bit stronger here. And then I do like Rise of the Ants as a nice kind of board stall thing. That can stay. Happy enough with these. The Tavern Ruffian might get pulled. Our 3-drops aren't that good. Only got the one Bird Admirer. It's kind of leaning on me with the Painter. It's like a better defensive unit than the Harvesttide Infiltrator. But we just, like, I guess even... Yeah, we don't really have ways to give it the bonuses ever. Like, if we had 7 removal spells, and they were all, like, Moonrager Slashes and Clear Shots and Duel for Dominance, I think that would be okay, but, like, 2 of our removals are Silver Bolts. It's just quite tough for us to actually pull this thing off. But here, I think we're going to take the Thermo Alchemist out. Where does that leave us? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2-drops. That seems good. So yeah, some of these expensives are going to come out. This doesn't like really feel like a Rise of the Ants deck, but it just gives us like so much time in the kind of the mid to the late game, and gives us something to do with our mana when we have a ton of it. I guess we do have some mana sinks, right? We have the 2 Harriers, we have the Fangblade Brigand. So we have like some stuff to do in that sense. I think our curve is just kind of getting out of hand, though, if we play Rise of the Ants. So if we take out one more, I think I'm just kind of looking at like Harvesttide Infiltrator. But I think we have like enough defensive style 3-drops, right? The Eccentric Farmer, the Bird Admirer, and the Spellrune Painter would be 3. Like I think we can split this up to 2 and 2, where we have kind of 2 tradesy kind of infiltrators and then 2 kind of defensive ones, and the Bird Admirer and the Eccentric Farmer. I think that's okay. Yeah, I think this is good. Where does that leave us? 16 creatures. That's good. 6 of these are removal spells. We got 2 bolts, 3 with the duel, 4 with the clear shot. 1, 2. I thought we had 6. 1, 2 in the bolts, 3 for the duel. What am I missing? 4. Oh, 4 in the slash, 5 with the clear shot, and then 6 is Burn the Accursed. That's fine. 6 removals plus the Unnatural Moonrise. 6 2-drops. Then 3 4s, 3 5s. Okay, yeah. I dig it. I think this is good. Let's jump on in. All right. Yeah, this got some power to it. This has the tools to go the distance if we don't play horribly today. So let's see what we can do with this deck here. All right, not a particularly interesting start, especially on the play. Even if like things go right and we immediately draw a forest, it's still not like a super good hand. So let's take the mulligan. I'm not going to go to 5 though. So we have land in our hand. We'll just keep what we can. So let's get rid of the Tireless Hauler. I would rather keep the Burn the Accursed as the expensive card here. Hopefully we pick up a forest soon. Alright, well, if we're not going to draw forests, we'll at least draw our mythics. Sure. Alright. At least we had a play. Not sure what I think of these extended art lands. It's like They're all dark. They look like nice lands, but I don't think I like they're too dark for me. Dude's playing 3 colors. Alright, well this is a reasonable place to go knight. Getting the 4/4 on board is good. We can come in and interact. Well, we can't block the socialite, but we'll take it down with the Moonrager Slash. I don't think we want this thing boosting up his potential future vampires. I can't imagine he's like super vampire-y, the way that this game has started out, but it's a problematic card if that's the way it's going to go. What are the... Oh, these Coven. Okay, I thought I had to stop and think. I was thinking of the something else as far as Disturb goes. But let's get another big boy down, even if you know he can't flip it today on our turn anyways. But I was gonna say even if it could flip today, it'd still be a decent blocker next turn. Okay. I think we just keep swinging. We got more big boys in the wings. Tavern Smasher, not the best at smashing. He doesn't have trample. That's all right. The assailants are our smashers for the moment. Yeah, I mean we've handled this game nicely, I think, given that we mulliganed to 6. We had to haven't drawn a forest, kind of stalled on land for a bit. This is good. So I guess we're safe enough to run out the Regent. I have to imagine if he was going to have a removal spell, he would have removed one of these things. Very strange that he hasn't been playing cards, but I think it's safe here. Even if it's not, I mean, if he wants to spend his turn playing a Dawn Glow Strike, whatever the white removal spell is called, we still have a commanding presence on this board. The only thing that would really suck for us is if he plays 2 cards. Like if he flashes back the Luminous Phantom and turns it into Day, that would be a bit unfortunate. Okay, that's manageable. Nah, man, back to night. Let's make it dark out here. I had the thing pulled up and didn't realize that he had this like pile of forests over here. I thought he was stalled on 4 land. Get the deck tracker out of here. I don't like that he has this lurking leech and gets to gain a ton of health, but we're not doing anything else. I think all of these attacks are still good. He doesn't have good double blocks is what makes this turn promising, right? He can't get one of these blocks where he, say, puts the 3/3 Embodiment of Flame and a 2/2 something else in front of one of our units. I guess he can flip his Ambitious Farmhand. That is slightly awkward. That flips into a big lifesteal unit. But I think this is still okay. Right, we've got 5 cards in our hand, so as long as we can clear out his board, we're going to be doing okay. Yep. We can gain a bunch of health with the Leeching Lurker. I think that's okay. Not real worried about what's going on here. Just need to draw a land. Drawing. I mean, there's a world where he doesn't even want to attack with this Lurker, so we can block with it next turn. So if we can draw a land and pop it with Burn the Accursed, that would be quite nice. There it is. Cool. I like how that won. We won the game. That feels good. Winning games feels delightful. All right, on to the next one. So yeah, it was pretty sweet at fantasy football. I was playing my brother. He had one league I was up by like 40, but he had Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper. More than capable of putting up 40 points in half PPR between the two. I didn't feel like that one was a real lock. And then in the other league, also playing my brother, I was up 7 against Amari Cooper. 7 or 8, I think it was 7. And I just assumed that one was done. Like, that's so easy to hit 7 points in half PPR when you just get like 4 catches and 30 yards and you're there. But he only put up like 3.5 points last night. It was so beautiful. So beautiful. Talk so much trash. And, you gotta make sure it pays off. But here, this is a bit of a danger keep, but has a lot of value if things kind of go right, and being able to drop the farmer and continue on with our mana. I think this is a reasonable keep. Okay, and then I don't think we're going to be the aggro against a green-white. We're probably going to be the defensive people. But I would like to go ahead and get that unit off the board. The Pestilent Wolf trades up into so many of our big boys. Glad to just go ahead and take that one down. And we're getting to the point to where we can like play these infiltrators and pass. We'll see. Making 4/4 starts to feel pretty good here. But being a green-white deck, they can fairly easily flip back into us. So it's not and none of this is good by guaranteed to be good by any stretch. So I think we want to add 2 here. Like, let's add the Infiltrator. Let's add the Silver Bolts. And then we're going to send it to Knight. This Odric's Outrider is a bit worrisome. We don't have really good answers to a unit like it. If he can just let it, hang out and just keep spreading value throughout the rest of the game, it's slightly problematic. Ooh, and he sends it to Knight for us. Okay, battle. Gotta be some amount of shenanigans happening here. It's very strange that he would send it to Knight. But get ourselves some pretty good blocks here. Like, there's no way. Like, he has to have a flash unit, right? I don't understand what just happened there. Unless he's like playing a third color and just doesn't have it, or if his hand is just like combat tricks and expensives or something. Like, all very suspect to me. He's got a 2/2/4 or 2/2/2/3, so he doesn't have a coven. I don't really want to. I don't want to spend 2 cards on this Odric's Outrider, but like, how bad is this board if we, say Moonrager slash the Dawnheart Wardens, let the Bereaved Survivor flip, and then pop the Survivor. He gets just so many stats. Like, if he gets to make the Outrider a 4/6 and it just gets value blocks on our assailants every turn, that's not good. So let's take this thing down. And we did lose out on a Purifying Dragon over here. Losing the Naturalist is kind of meh. He would be pretty good right here, but this is okay. That's a little unfortunate. Okay, at least his Avenger's not scary. Well, I guess it brings back a Pestilent Wolf. I didn't think it was going to bring any value back, but it is. He's Covened this turn. This kind of sucks. Don't like this whatsoever. It's like we gotta draw our Moonveil Regent and start. Like that's like we have a couple of good draws, right? If we draw a Moonveil Regent and we're able to just start chaining off a bunch of cards, that would be good. If we could pick up a Fangblade Brigand to make one of our attackers really threatening every turn, that would be good. Otherwise, we just gotta find something. Can't attack into this board. Tireless Hauler could maybe attack into this board. It's tough. You can swing the Hauler in and take down a Wing Shredder. We're gonna have to do something eventually, but our stains aren't dire enough. The Dire Stain Brawler. Are we okay to just trade it with Wing Shredder? I mean, that lets us start attacking with other units. Maybe we bring in the Pestilent Wolf as well now. It feels like these turns where he's like, oh, there's a block with Lunarch Veteran. Just prevent 6. But we do have some big draws. I mean, Unnatural Moonrise gives our units trample, so that's something that could potentially be big. Yeah, we're just going to lose out on this combat. He's... well, that's promising if he does it this way. You have a card. Are you going to have the combat trick here? I have to imagine if he had a combat trick, he would have attacked a long time ago. Oh boy. Oh boy. That is horrific. Okay. Defend the Celestius. That's incredible. Like, I can't imagine why I wouldn't attack last turn with Defend the Celestius. You just get, like, a super easy 3-for-1 with that thing. It's wild. Alright. We're not going to draw anything. Okay, well, we got to keep blockers up. I'm not sure how we ever win this one, but picking up something like a Purifying Dragon gives us a bit of hope. That hope is slowly dwindling away. I mean, this is. I think this matchup would be fine. We do have ways to like crack board stalls. It's just this Odric thing is horrifically bad for our kind of deck to have to deal with. Okay, sure. Right, if we're trying to like set up these boards to where we can like hopefully just come in and trade, and they're able to just get value on every trade and every removal spell, just impossible for us to deal with. In addition to that, 4 health being quite a bit. So it's not so much like the spreading out the counters that's so bad. It's just like he could make that thing a 4/6 and just like abyss every unit, every attack that we make. It's yeah, yeah. That's the appropriate noise to make. All right, on the play again. I think this is okay. I mean, it's only got 2 land, but it's got 3 2-drops in it. Let's give it a keep. We start with the Liberator. That's probably the one we want to lose the least. Let's get rid of the Pestilent Wolf. Seems most likely to interact favorably with the this deck. Alright, and then if for whatever reason he passes on us, potential for him to send it to Knight. You don't have haste, right? Nope. Can we pass out Covens with this? He only boosts himself, right? The Eviscerator gets 1/0 and gains first strike. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead. I want to go ahead and duel for Dominus, this Duelcraft Trainer. It's a very scary unit to be throwing our way. Maybe we could wait till his turn, I guess. I don't want to play 2 cards this turn. I want to keep it on Knight. I guess we can easily reflip it next turn with our Unnatural Moonrise, but let's not do that unless we have to. I guess the downside here is if he has any of those like sweet combat tricks, we can lose our unit. Maybe it's paid the mana. Okay. Nothing to do about that. But this is starting to look decent. The Unnatural Moonrise will be good now. We have the means to turn off one of his blockers next turn. I think that's okay. Right, he doesn't have the mana to activate as a Static Awakener. As I say, it'd be nice to have another land, but I don't think we're in the space to. I don't think we're in the space to talk about that, as we top decked pretty heavily throughout the early portion of this game. Okay. The Assailant has trample as well. If you weren't familiar with what was happening there. Cool. Cool. All right. On to the next one. Not bad, not bad. So let's see. Let's see. I think that's probably a pretty reasonable keep. 3 land, a removal spell, 2 drop to go with it. Sure. Uh-oh, we gotta play against another Odric again. Oh, these green-white decks. that was a struggle in the previous one. Hopefully they just can't deal with the Moonveil Regent. They should. They have to either take it down with like the thing that kills a 4 health unit or like a big duel for dominance or something. I guess you can Candle Trap it, but Candle Trap is at least not ideal against a not ideal since the dragon can just kind of hang out and still draw us a bunch of cards. But no need to immediately chase him down. See if we can't get the Ruffian on board and maybe stall a little bit before we start discarding our hand. Right, we would like to get these lands out of our hand. Ideally with the Regent, you're playing the last card in your hand and not discarding anything. So give it a bit of time. Does this thing have Defender? Nope, just a 0 attack. Alright, well the Contortionist Troop is reasonably annoying. We just don't have a legitimate way to take it down other than death touching our Pestilent Wolf. So let's see if we can't set up one of these plays where we get ourselves into Nightfall and can at least contest it with the Ruffian. We're just not good at dealing with stats. But the naturals look pretty decent here, flipped, giving all of our dudes a boost. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay. Not gonna spread out the love. You're gonna stack it onto the one big boy. Decisions are being made. Little guy. Okay, so we won't have a Coven this turn, but the duel for dominance was a big draw, letting us take down this Contortionist Troop with the duel for dominance. So we'll see. We'll see. I'd like to see them spend a bunch of mana before before we go for a play like that. If we just get blown out by a combat trick, that'll be pretty horrific. That's what I'd like to see. Ooh, the Silversmith. Do we not get to see this? Triggers, right? He resolves, comes on the board, and then he has to pick somewhere to put the tokens. So maybe we can get him to put a token on the troop before we play the duel for dominance. Cool. Alrighty, so the Tavern Smasher's not blocking anymore this turn, but the rest of our units have some potential. Kind of interested in going ahead and just silver bolting something. Yeah, this isn't really a prime unit to hit. Just a 3/3. Do we? We're at a pretty healthy life total, and I think next turn we're really just looking to add the Kessig Naturalists. So let's pass. We'll just take the 3, and then we should have some big time attacks here. Oh no, we played 2 spells. Shit. Oh shit. Things are getting worse and worse. I think this is okay. They're starting to run out of cards, so we might have that going for us as well. Alright, well. This should work frequently if he has the +3/+3 combat trick. Oh, he's highlighting his Dawnhard Mentor. Oh, that's annoying. That's a problem. It does flip all of our units back if they want to spend their whole turn protecting this sentry, but that's a little awkward. So where do we have good attacks? It's really just the Tavern Smasher, which is okay. This is reasonable. Our blocks don't look as dumb next turn. And then we have this Moonrager Slash that will at least get to draw us one card from the Regent. Blaze the land. Okay. It's like is he going to try to flip us back to day? Kind of seems like what he's building himself up to here. Search party captain. Okay. I think I want to go ahead and Moonrager Slash here. Not a lot of good targets. Probably just the sentry. But I want to draw a card here. Oh, oh, buddy. Talk about a way to maximize here. So let's play the land. Let's play the Unnatural Moonrise onto the Ruffian. We're not going to play Pestilent Wolf this turn. Should just get a big chunk of his board. Assume he's got to put 6 attack in front of this thing. Okay. So we're getting the important ones here. 4, 7, 8. Or no, we want to take down his 3/3. Or, yeah, take down his 3/3. Leave the 2/3 behind. Right. So we got 3, 4, 8. Okay. And now he's lost his coven. So he needs quite a bit for this to go right. Wonder if he's going to run into combat and not realize he has a coven. I'm going to block this with Pestilent Wolf either way. I want to be able to death touch this thing down given the chance. Join the dance, sure. So slightly awkward. I mean, these attacks still aren't great. We can switch back to Knight, but then we don't get to do a whole lot. It's like we can play the land, Moonrise something, make like the Dawnhart Mentors unblockable. We don't have the mana to do all of that, but I think we just want to Moonrise onto the dragon. Actually, let's just draw a card first. We might want to just Unnatural Moonrise next turn, or we might want to save this as a means to just draw 2 cards instead of 1. And I think that's kind of where we're at with this. So let's go to the next one, just the dragon. Well, it does give him really good attacks. We're at 11. He can boost once. That's not enough damage to be super scary. Oh, this is in our graveyard already. Okay. I think it's fine. Like, we realistically just need to block the Silversmith. Then we're looking at taking 4 plus 3, 7. Take us to 4. We survive all the combat tricks from that point. I think we're good. Okay, no blocks. So let's see, I guess the interesting thing that would happen here would be like whether or not, well, he can't flip us. He can play a card to keep it, make it stay day. So I guess we'll have to see if he has a play. Loyal Griff, sure. Return his Silversmith and make a bunch of stats. Alright, so where does this get us? If we attack with everything, we get to ace most of their board. We've got we got 5 units on the ground. It's going to get decent Dawnhart Mentor blocks. I think that's okay. You can also give everything plus a 2 attack with this guy. Oh, that'll be enough. That's how we do it. Okay, I see it now. So we're a mana short to make the big play, but I think that's okay. So it's a natural Moonrise. We're gonna put it on the Brigand. We want to use this to draw 2. Look for an untapped land. Perfect. Oh, I forgot, he did play a flyer this turn. That makes this slightly awkward. He has a blocker for our Regent, but I just assumed that I was going to have the 6 to lethal on the Regent. I think this is still okay. He's got to block all of our dudes. So he's got to get... Yeah, he's got to block everything. He's just going to have no board at the end of this. I guess he'll still have a token. So it's hard. It's so hard for me to tell what's actually happening here. I think he's currently taking 4 through the Eviscerator, but he has an unblocked unit out here. I think there's a Pestilent Wolf down here that's unblocked, but I can't quite tell what's happening with the stack of units. Okay. So I think we're fine. Even if he has a unit to hit the Coven, he's not going to take it down there. So there's probably a better way to do that, but looked like we got the win there in the end. Cool. Right. Got them 1,000 gems. Whoa. Gotta do some more winning. It feels like we've crashed through all these gems pretty quick. It's okay though, I assure you. The price to getting Mythic, the pay to win. I'm not as big a fan as the Magic kind of extended art things. I like my premiums from Runeterra and from Hearthstone, where they take the same thing and just kind of make it shinier. But what a world we live in, where that's the things that's things that we're able to come out here and complain about. All right, nonetheless, this hand is very medium, even a little bit less so in terms of quality. But I think when we have a hand like this with a decent curve and a decent set of mana, we're just so heavily incentivized to hang on to it. But here, this is fine. Against black-red, I think we should be okay against whatever aggro shenanigans they're trying to pull off. But let's get the Eccentric Farmer down. It's the best blocker that we can get here. Hitting a land, not ultra important, but of course we want to. And we did. The Purifying Dragon should be pretty good here, though. I think we're going to be really happy with that one. Just we haven't given them like a real reason to play a removal spell. And so I'd be a little sad to have the dragon go. But let's see, maybe we hold on to it for just a little bit. Takes the flip. Well, the Silver Bolts is quite scary in that sense. So let's see, what's going to happen to us here? Because we have a couple of options. I was leaning towards like playing Harvest-Tide Infiltrator and then doing a natural Moonrise onto the Bird Admirer and then attacking. The attack doesn't seem that great, but I think we need to add this. Ooh, maybe this is the way to do it. We put the Moonrise on the Farmer, and then if he wants to interact with the Farmer, then go for it. But the downside to this now is that was our second spell, so our stuff's going to flip back next turn. I think it's still okay. We have decent blocks on this stuff. Goes to Silverbolt now to protect his thing. I think it's fine. But the Silverbolts does kill a Purifying Dragon, which is slightly awkward. Mana is just no good here. I mean, we just don't have an answer to the Behemoth. What can we do? Like, even if we, like, flip, I mean, maybe that's how we can do it? No, we can't both do damage to the Behemoth and duel for dominance. That's not going to work. Then our blocks onto the demon are horrible. Alright, well here's where I think we're at. We're not going to attack. Can't play lands. Just going to end the turn. I assume he's going to Silver Bolt our Wing Shredder so that he can't block. We're just going to go ahead and duel for dominance onto the demon. I assume this is going to end with opponent just not attacking, but fine. We have to eat a face hit out of this Morkut Behemoth, and so I'd prefer that not happen. Like, he should... So this will leave us in a spot next turn where we can at least maybe double block this Behemoth, but we drew a land. Okay, that kind of is what it is. We ended up drawing 9 land that game, so that's kind of tough against black-red. We would have issues with the Morkut Behemoth anyways, but we just never got anything going in that game with like 9 land and 6 spells or however that played out. Too bad. I think we should be decent against the vampires. I mean, we have a reasonable enough curve to handle it. It's just at the end of the game we had multiple land in our hand and couldn't really do anything. All right, we'll find us a good opponent here. We need to get a couple more wins so we're in the positive today. Get to slowly climb our way out of Diamond. Okay, so I can't imagine we could keep a hand like this. Just can't do anything until the fourth turn. We can't use the clear shot. It's counting on a big Moonrager slash or just like picking up a 2-drop. All right, well, this one at least has some high roll appeal to it. I'm kind of tempted just to hang on to the Moonveil Regent because it's so strong. So I think I'm just going to get rid of the... Oh, we probably have to hang on. No, we don't. Let's be real. We're just going to high roll it because that's the way we do it. I think we'll be okay if we pick up any land. That was kind of the argument for hanging on to that 3-2, was if we don't draw a forest, then it still gives us something to do on the third turn. But I think we can hopefully just like Silver Bolt out of this if we still don't have anything at that point. But drawing a forest here would be pretty nice. Nice. Okay, we'll see what the Naturalist can do. I'd say that he just gets killed off like 60% of the time, but if we ever get to untap with this thing, just big things are coming. He's gonna stop and read it a few times and play his removal spell. But, ooh, boy, and a Moonrager slash. Do we want to get really involved here? I mean, I don't think so. It's a touch awkward in the sense that, like, we're like running out of cards quickly, and I don't want to play the Moonveil Regent and not be able to follow it with a card. I think this is okay. So we do this. Let's add a mana. The intent is when he double blocks, we're going to Silver Bolt something, and then we're going to go into next turn and be flipped. Which I think is okay. Alright, no blocks, so no need to flip. These are like really low value units to be spending a Silver Bolt on. And so that's kind of a win in that way. That's not good. We don't interact positively with that guy. Okay, take the flips. Can actually clear shot with the Pestilent Wolf if you want to give it Death Touch. I haven't come across that interaction yet, but some potential there, right? Deals damage equal. Oh, it doesn't actually fight it. It just the clear shot deals the damage, right? No. Target creature you control gets 1/1 until end of turn. It being the creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Interesting. Don't think we want to play any of this. Okay. Alright, so how do we go about it? We can get like this big mana play happening if we attack with the Lord of the Uvenwald. That just seems fairly low value. Like, where do we think we stand as far as him having removal? Like, is the Lord good enough for him to remove? Because, like, I really don't think the way that this game is shaped up that we win without the Moonveil Regent staying. But at this stage, like, he's just out here drawing a card. The other thing is, like, we can get a pretty good clear shot out of this stuff, but let's just rent out the Regent. It's tough. Like, we haven't played enough to, like, force removal out of them. I feel like if they had it, they probably would have played it. But, you know, we aren't, like, applying enough pressure for where they have to do it. I don't think this Moonveil Regent is long for this world, but I don't. I'm just not seeing anything else we can do here. We're just gonna have to like keep 2-for-1ing ourselves over and over again. Okay. That's a start. But highlight my dragon. Fuck. No, there's nothing we could do about it anyways. Yep. This is absurd. It's just all of his units are just like bigger than ours. We even have a lord on the board and all of our units are just tiny. Okay. I mean, we're just at the stage where we have to have something go right. We need to get a good clear shot. It's like maybe he'll be attacking with the Awoken Demon and we can get a block with the Wolf and clear shot. Like, that's the only thing I'm seeing as being potentially decent here. Oh my gosh, and he got to play 2 spells that turn. Oh, what a disaster. Alright. Gonna take us so long to get back to night. But what I mean, like, what else are we realistically gonna do? We can't duel for dominance anything. We just lose. We can't clear shot and kill anything, and then we can't Moonrager Slash and kill anything. Awful. I don't know what else we could have done this one. I mean, we clearly couldn't just be like sitting around with the dragon in hand. Like, we can't just pass these turns and not play any of our 4 cards. Okay. Yep. Getting getting beat down by the blue-black deck. Just actual nothing we can do about it. And then we have to go to night, and then we have to just trade 4 cards for 3, and hope that works. And so they attack with everything. We get to clear shot onto 1 unit, block the demon, shoot down the castigator, and then on the other one we get a 3/3 block on the amalgam and take it down with a Moonrager Slash. Okay, this is done. I guess we can't give up at this point because the game's just over then, but. Brutal. Just got completely savaged by this deck, and it's like they didn't even really do anything. They played, you know, medium quality cards. Well, Drown Yard Amalgam's not even a good card. It just completely savaged everything we were doing. But I mean, like, I don't know. It's not like complaining. It's like I don't know what we would have drawn in our deck to actually have this game go well. We've really struggled against anything that has more than 3 attack. Right? Whenever we had to play against like Odric's Outrider, the 2/4, it just shut down everything we were doing. Okay. Take us to 1. Then I can't shoot the zombie here. We have to be able to Moonrager Slash. And okay, sure. Just why not? That's about the way that game was going. But like I don't know what's like went wrong with this deck. It feels decent. Like, it's just I don't know if it's just like we needed combat tricks and didn't have them. Like we could have played them. We had combat tricks in our sideboard, but let's take a I don't know. Let me take a moment and get this one pulled up real quick. Is it I mean, it feels like what should objectively be a good deck, but we just got like annihilated by um, a bunch of like mediocre cards multiple games in a row. And so I don't know how else to really look at it other than that. So let's get this pulled up. So we need to go to limited, the most recent draft here, and then and so yeah, at least over in the deck part, like I know in the sideboard, like we have things like raise the effigy I never want to play, but that could put in a combat trick. I'm sure that we ended up passing some amount of like the green +2/+2, or even the thing that gives you like 3/1 trample on your turn, 3/1 first strike on an opponent's turn. And then we did have some like big boys at the top end, but I don't feel like that was where we were really hurting, right? It doesn't feel like the tireless hauler was like a real issue here. And so I just don't get where this went wrong. Like maybe it was just like an awkward draw in that game, but even against the other green white decks to where like they're just shutting us down with 2/4s and there's nothing we can do. It was kind of a problem. And so I mean the way that we're at least sometimes able to deal with it was with like Shadow Beast sightings, which is not completely on theme with what we're doing here, being in the Werewolves deck, but it gives you at least a little bit more meat. I'm not a huge fan of Duel for Dominance in these decks. We did end up with it here, but I feel like with Duel for Dominance, you typically just want to be in like green white, and then you're able to put like a +1/+1 counter on like the 2/2 flyer, and then kill off an opposing like 2-drop flyer or something. This feels like a deck where like the fights would be good, but we were having trouble just hitting the they're really only kind of good if we're in nighttime, so we can get the big hits with these assailants and the Birded Myers, but even then, it seemed like our units were very often outclassed and too small, and so that was kind of tough in that sense. But I mean, from like the 4 drops down, this all looks good, right? The Brigand's good, all of this the Moonveil region, of course, fantastic. The Ruffian, not great, but it serves the purpose here. I mean, maybe we should have taken the Ruffian out for Tireless Hauler, but that doesn't like fix a lot of the problems that we had. I don't know. I don't know where it was lacking. If it's just because we didn't have like the ways to put out like +1/+1 counters. It felt like the big thing was we wanted a combat trick because we were just in so many spaces to where we couldn't win a combat. So that was tough. That was tough in there. But I mean, I feel like the draft went pretty well. Outside of like we could have had a ridiculous sort of like black start here. I don't know if I really feel like I don't know. It seems like I just don't like drafting red is what seems to be the problem. Like I do end up in a lot of like base green decks that I like, but whenever we end up in kind of base red, I'm rarely happy with it. I'm not sure if I should like if we're drafting red that you just need to be in Boros or vampires and just being as aggressive as possible, because this kind of like mid-rangey thing didn't really work. But I think we just I don't know if we got kind of a low roll. It seems like a strange world where you say I don't want to just be drafting Purifying Dragon. Like this is just a completely fantastic unit. We just didn't get the opportunity to take advantage of it here today. And so I think this still feels okay. Like I still start to lean more and more towards like I just want to take the Digraph Horde, and I feel like we would have ended up in kind of a bonkers deck if we did. But just the way that these have played out, it's have a hard time feeling like these red cards are ever particularly good. But if we're drafting the red card, I think that went okay. Moving into pack 2, there was nothing like really punishing here. Again, I don't think Village Watch is a good card. Just a 3 health 5-drop does not do it in this format. Just too small. You're going to be trading down quite a bit of the time. So I was happy to have him go. If we had started off with the black card, there was nothing otherwise too exciting. Starting with Digraph Ghoul, we probably would have just taken Falcon Abomination, but Clear Shot, I think easily the best card in the pack. These other ones are all fairly replaceable. Then as it continued, Had we taken, the black start, we could have probably picked up Rite of Oblivion or at worst Olivia's Midnight Ambush. I mean, maybe this is the point where we just say, okay, well, Rite of Oblivion being a 2-for-1 removal spell is just powerful enough. But I mean, the Brigand is good. So I don't know. We would have had a bit of help in that previous game if we could have just dropped a Brigand to lock down the 4/4s. It fixes our problem of our units all being too small. And so I think that was still okay given how we started. Like, I see why everyone just drafts black in this format because you're just sending in so much more powerful cards this way. But a lot of the payoff here was drafting red 8 picks away at like 11. Or is it 12? Somewhere in here I thought 10. Here we go. We just wheeled the Burn the Accursed. No, that's not right. That would have been in the previous pack. It was but I mean, getting the Burn the Accursed that late is one of the perks of drafting red. But I still think starting with the Purifying Dragon, the Brigand is fine. We're starting to see the payoff in the Moonrager / here, but again, these black cards are ridiculous in the Procession and the Digraph Horde, and then here not anything for any of the decks, so I don't feel like we've missed out. And then another Purifying Dragon, and so I mean, it feels like red was safe. It just seems like, I don't know, we could have just taken a Morcut Behemoth and been okay and had a lot of reasonable black cards in this deck. It's tough. I feel like I feel like one of the things I was missing in this format was it's very easy to see things like the Digraph Horde up here, and then say we took this blue card in the second pack, and then take kind of like off-theme cards, right? If we're trying to piece together this blue-black zombies deck, it's very easy to end up with like the things that just don't play well in these. But I think we didn't run into that pitfall here. So there's an Eccentric Farmer, Lambolt Harrier. These cards are just all filler. Burn the Accursed came pretty late. Like it seems like things were going okay through pack 1. Pack 2, we just pick up the Bomb Dragon. Like, I think the Dragon package here was pretty good. We're picking up things like Outland Liberator. I think the collection of cards was fine as we see third pick Eaten Alive, but I think we just caught a bad run at it, and then getting a fourth pick, Unnatural Moonrise, locked us in with some of those decisions that we had made. It's just, I don't know. It feels like we were missing a card or two. Someone in the comments will have to tell me what we're actually missing in the Werewolves deck here, but it was a bit of a struggle in this one. So I'll stop the grumbling and the moaning and the groaning, and I'll just come back and think on this a bit later. I think we do have some prizes to claim. Lost the 500 gems on this one, but we picked up some packs. And let's see what we get out here. Should have a bunch of wild cards. I guess that goes towards like some kind of weekly thing, right? I feel like we... I know I already had 4 of that mythic dragon, so we get some kind of bonus for having that. But Augur of Autumn, awesome, fantastic and limited. Ooh, rare wild cards. It's what everyone needs. Trisk Aedophile, we played that in the previous draft. Was not impressed with him. Thought it had some potential. I'm sure there's some decks that are okay with it, but I don't think it's one we really want. I think I've seen this before. I haven't played against it. Other tapped creatures, so your attacking creatures kind of get Death Touch, your untapped ones have Hexproof, and then you can kind of flip and flop back and forth. Extremely good. Our deck here would have loved this one. Let us just get in some big attacks with our bears that can't trade up. And all right, the last one. What do we got here? Oh, 2 of the Viper. So welcome to the squad. Alrighty, well that is going to do it for us today. I hope you all learned how to fly with the dragons a little bit better. You maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.